Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Streaming Theatre, where we curate, live edit, and live stream play readings, theatrical works, gigs, and other creative projects. My name is Kevin Kemp. I'm the artistic director of the Streaming Theatre, and on today's show, we have Katie Rubin with us for a night of stand-up comedy. I'm very excited. Before we get going, I've got a couple of things just to go through. We would really love you guys to get involved in the show tonight. Kate is going to be watching the live chat. I think it would be super fun if we all jump in there, cheer her on. I'll be in there too, and just chat to her as she performs. She might even give you a shout out if you say something fun. You never know. Just so you know how to get to the live chat, if you're watching on Twitch, you should see the live chat just here. Hopefully everybody can see it. We've already got Tango Actor saying yay, so hi Tango Actor. Everybody else jump in there. If you can't see it, there might be a little arrow just about here. You might need to just expand that. And if you're watching on the streamingtheatre.com, just click the button below me that says watch live on Twitch, and then you can come and join us. You do need to sign up to Twitch to chat, but it's a super fun platform. There's loads of fun things going on. There's loads of cool content. So yeah, it'll be super fun. And then we can all talk to each other, which will be fun as well. And also we can shout things at Katie, so super worth it, right? Today's show is a pay what you can event with a suggested donation of $10. Anything you can offer will be amazing. It helps Katie keep creating her work. It helps us keep streaming and keep giving work to artists. So yeah, anything you can offer would be super, super amazing. Just think of it as a tip on a night out or buying a ticket for a show. And you'll be supporting Katie Rubin and the Streaming Theatre. It's amazing. You can donate by clicking the button just below. And if you can't see the button for any reason, just go to thestreamingtheatre.com and you can see all the donation links on there. I've got somebody in the live chat saying, look at me, Mum, I'm on a live show. Is that Katie Rubin? Is that Kate Rubin chatting? Who's Ayusha937? I'm excited to know who everybody is. So let's bring Katie Rubin on stage. Where's Kate Rubin? Are you here? Are you with me? Hello, how are you?
Hi, Kevin. How are you?
I'm good. I'm so excited to have you here. So we met on Aurora Connects, right? That's how
we did.
Yeah, and it turns out we have a number of mutual friends in the Bay, don't
Who?
we?
Who?
I know Josh Marks, Laura Jane Bailey, who was on the show last week, question mark?
I hate both of them. I hate
well,
them.
That's unfortunate.
They're terrible people.
Yeah, it's this is awkward now. So
yeah, they're bad people.
Cool. And so today is basically just a bit of a handover of the show, isn't it? You're just going to take over the Streaming Theatre for like an hour, which
I'm just going to be sassy and irreverent and talk about friends that I love as if I hate them.
Well, I love that. That's great. So
it's what we're going
to do. My job to say just a very quick disclaimer that the show today may feature mature themes and possibly some strong language. So viewer discretion is advised. But ladies and gentlemen, it is time for Katie Rubin to shine and be the star of all of the world. Put your hands together, raise the roof for Katie Rubin. And I'll leave you to it, Katie. If you need me, I'm just here. You can just shout and I'll come back.
Okay, get the fuck out of here. Jesus Christ.
Have a great show. Okay, bye.
Blah, blah. I'm from Britain. I can talk a long time because my accent is pretty. Ladies in America want to have sex with me. We understand, Kevin. You're very special. All right, welcome everybody. It's important, I feel like, whenever I start to tell jokes, that I let the audience understand the kind of show that you're watching now. You need to know the kind of event that you're in the middle of, okay? Now, in order to understand the kind of show that this is, you have to understand a little bit about me, okay? So who am I? I am a spiritual healer. That's a real thing, and that's a thing I do. I work with private clients and groups of people. I'm a spiritual, divine light, energy healer, and a whore together in one body. Spiritual healer, deeply unified with the light of God. Whore, love to fuck the strangers. All together in one lady right in front of you. I'm like a wisdom delivery machine and a bit of an asshole together in one person. I like to, okay, let me paint a clearer picture. Tonight's show is going to be like if Deepak Chopra were here Deepak Chopra if he were here tonight, but on acid. Just losing his fucking little Indian mind. If tonight's show is like if Pema Chodron were here. Pema Chodron, she's like a Buddhist monk, spiritual teacher, very popular in the culture now. If Pema Chodron were here, but on ecstasy, my show is very, you are God, and I am God, and we are one, and I feel so alive. Bite my nipples, bite my nipples. This is the show you're in, okay? You need to understand. So if there are children nearby or any older white guys, any white guys over the age of like 53, if they hear the sound of my voice to an older white guy, it's like if there were a dolphin in this room right now, but the dolphin was being tortured with like a blowtorch. If you were lighting a dolphin on fire, the sound the dolphin would make is how white men hear my voice. I make sounds with my face holes, and old white guys hear, ah, ah, and then they bleed from their eyes because the sound, it pierces the eardrum, goes right to the ocular nerve, and just blood. I'm like a painful dog whistle for old white guys. Like only old white guys can hear that pitch, but it doesn't just make them alert. They die. They just explode and die. So send your children away because it's going to be wildly inappropriate. And you know what? I think maybe don't send the older white men away. Let them stick around. We need to get rid of them anyway. So just let them hear the timbre of my voice for a couple seconds and we'll be good to go. We'll get rid of those guys. We got stuff to do. We have things to do in America. We don't need, those guys are in the way. Have you noticed? They're kind of in my way. I'm ready for them to go. Oh yeah. So another thing about this show is that it's kind of like, it's like a no lubrication kind of show. I don't use lube in the show. I will never use, I'm not going to use any water-based latex. No lube will be used. I'm just going to bend you over the chair in your living room and fuck you with my comedy fist. Dry fisting of comedy. That's what I'm committed to this evening on your behalf for the betterment of the world. My show is raw. It's as raw as a gay man's asshole on Pride Week. Just blown open, just bleeding, dry, cracking, wishing there were a product like chapstick for itself, like butt stick. Okay, so as you can tell, I'm very spiritual. Very spiritual person. I actually am quite spiritual. I guarantee I've done more weird woo-woo shit than you in my short lifetime than you will do in the next 10 lifetimes you experience. A lot of weird woo-woo shit, mostly out of necessity for my own personal healing, because as you can see, I've arrived at a state of wholeness and completion. Now, the thing is, I'm very spiritual, but I don't seem like it. Right? Like you guys have heard me talk for a few minutes here. I don't seem like a spiritual lady, right? When I start talking in groups of people never think to themselves, oh my gosh, I bet that lady is a divine light energy healer. I bet she went to 3-4-year energy healing schools. I bet she spends a lot of time alone in rooms with people, pulling entities out of the back of their hearts. I bet tonight, after the show, she's going to go home and plug her headphones into her laptop and listen to an Australian shaman channeling the light of God through alien noises like moka kili kili kola kili kili kola. People don't think that when I start talking. I start talking and people think lesbian lawyer. Now, I understand. I've heard myself talk. I live in the world. I understand your judgments. It's just I seem like a lesbian lawyer. People always think I'm a lesbian lawyer, but I just happen to not be those things. I'm not good at like structure and laws and rules. I'd be a terrible lawyer. I would hate it. All the suit wearing and the cinching at the waist and the briefcase. Do people still use briefcases? I'm not carrying fucking leather around with my hand. Lawyers, you're not allowed to use a shoulder strap, are you? You have to hold it by the hand because it's 1982 in my mind when you're a lawyer. Not a lawyer. I'm also not a lesbian. I always wish I were a lesbian because I seem like a lesbian. And every lesbian I've ever met wants me in the club. They love me a lot, the lesbians. And I'm so weird. Like I'm such a weird spiritual healer, asshole, strange combo, right? So I don't fit in a lot of places, like a lot of clubs. So any group of people that's like, Katie, we love you. Come be one of us. You're one of us. Aren't you one of us? Come be one of us. I'm like, I think I'm flattered. I want to eat pussy. I don't want to though. I don't want to. I don't put it away. It's too much in there. Layers and folds and flaps. No, it's not for me. I like it simple, straightforward, dick inside of me. Then I go home, I take a nap and a shower, clean it out. None of this complicated. Pussies are complicated. I can't. I want to be one of the people that wants me to be them. I'm just not gay enough. I've always been a little gay. I mean, I went to college in the Northeast of America. I'm as gay as you have to be to have done that. You know, I think boobies are pretty. I like lady bodies. I have female friends. I'm just not fully there. I'm only gay enough. Think of it this way. I'm like diet gay. I can't even say I'm bisexual. I'm not bi enough to be bisexual. I'm just diet gay. I'm gay light. I'm gay zero. I'm gay adjacent. That's what it is. Adjacent. I'm gay like, here's what I mean. If gay is a neighborhood and straight is a neighborhood, I don't live in gay, but it's one block over. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't live there, but like I drive my electric bike through the hood from time to time. If you know what I'm saying? If you get, like, I don't live in gay, but if I need like a latte or a sundress from a boutique on the weekend, I'll skip over to gay for just a minute. Then I'm coming home to my dick house over here in straight. So, gay adjacent spiritual healer. That's what I am. We have a lot of difficult things going on in the world. Have you noticed? Have you been awake at all lately? I mean, just with your eyes open, not like woke, just like not sleeping. If you've been not sleeping in any way for the past little nugget of time, say since, I don't know, March, you probably noticed there's some stuff happening. And I think it's important to talk about it. You know, one of the hardest things I have to admit from like this whole period of time, something very difficult for me to admit, is that it did for me, speaking of race and structural racism and white supremacy and my own part in all of that, it did take me, to be totally honest, it took the lootings and the fires and the fucking war in the streets for me to read White Fragility and for me to watch the 13th. See, I can't remember the name of the documentary about the people of color because it hurts my white lady brain to remember stuff. I don't want to have to remember. I'm very fragile. I have a lot of feelings. It's hard for me. It's not true, but what's true is it took what's happening in the world right now for me to get fucking educated. And that's something I don't feel great about. Like, I don't feel good about the fact that I had to watch people fucking destroy shit with guns and fire to get off my ass. But that is true. Why? Because I was benefiting from the subtle layers of systemic racism that I've been functioning within my entire life as a white lady. Not because I'm a terrible, horrible racist. People are so afraid to own their stuff. We are so afraid to own the ways that we benefit from systems that are fucking other people because it's so threatening to our identity. God forbid I have to own a flaw that I've been carrying. You know what, guys? It's not that fucking hard. I just did it in front of a bunch of strangers right the fuck now. You can do it too. It's not that bad, white ladies, okay? And once you've done it, you're still allowed to go have your Jamba Juice and then hit the sale over at Talbot's because it's going on all night long. And you don't have to wait until after you admit that you're a part of the systemic racism happening. You could do it now or then, whatever, as long as you're willing to look at your stuff. Now, the reason we don't do it is because human beings, particularly in a capitalist culture like ours that is so intensely focused on distracting us all the time and keeping us, running on the rat race wheel hamster situation of life and busy, distracted, avoiding our feelings, it's difficult for us to take time, sit down, feel the pain and the grief and the discomfort of what comes up when you have to own your part in the system. Okay, what we like to do as Americans is we like to avoid those icky, yucky, sad feelings down in the low part of our bodies and in the heart area. We don't like it, so we stay up here in our little heads. Yeah, and then at the end of the day, we like to, have a drink with the girls at the bar. We're going to distract away from all those icky downtown in my pants feelings. Ew, we're from the Midwest. We don't feel feelings. No, we go to the bar and we have a little Mai Tai or a little skinny margarita, a little scargarita, right? And we talk to the girls and we get a little hammed and we go home and pass out and we don't have to think about all those uncomfortable brown people. Oh, no, we don't want to think about it. It's terrible. But see, the problem with that is the longer we avoid our feelings and don't address the grief that we carry for having been fucktards in the past, the longer that grief festers, and then we would just become resistant, total douchebags acting like defensive fucktards. Is that the term I use? The second fucktard? Yeah, we stay fucktards forever. Yeah, and then the world is fucked. But see, you never know what's going to happen once you stay with the feeling. If you go into a feeling like someone goes like, oh, hey, you're part of the problem. You're actually benefiting from white supremacy. And you go, oh, what? And then you're like, ow, fuck, it's true. It hurts. It hurts down in my, I feel like a dick. And then you cry because there's grief and sadness and you cry all over your couch. And if you're like me, into the dog. I like to cry into not just on her. I like to cry into her mouth. Whichever orifice she'll let me cry into, cry. And then when you're done crying, did you notice that whenever you cry about feeling bad about something, eventually you stop crying? And when you're done crying with something, you usually feel like a little lighter, like wrung out and tired for sure, but lighter. And then sometimes if you have a good cry on the couch into your dog and you're feeling lighter after, you might have an idea like, I don't know, I feel better. I think I'll go for a walk in nature and head over to the park near my house. And you sit down on a bench and you look to your left and there's your soulmate. You meet your soulmate on a bench because you weren't at the bar with the girls having a Mai Tai. You were facing your feelings on the couch into your dog. It's not that hard. We don't know what we're missing when we avoid our feelings, but we know exactly what we're going to get if we keep distracting ourselves away from our feelings. We know exactly what we're going to get. We're going to get more of the same, and we're going to keep the system alive and functioning as it's always functioned. And that's why we do that, because we're so comfortable with the status quo and we can't handle change. And that's why the world has to get set on fire and send a couple pandemics our way to wake our little white lady asses up. Now, on the topic of soulmates, I know I told some of you that were at my earlier shows at the beginning of the quarantine. I found mine. Some of you heard, I found my soulmate at the beginning of quarantine, and I was pretty sure about it because it was really simple. I mean, it was right in front of me the whole time. I thought I had to go far and wide, but it was right here. My soulmate was here. She's great. She's fuzzy and adorable and she doesn't have coronavirus, and she cuddles me and I can cry into her orifices. And I was like, this is it. She's the one. We're together forever. Soulmate. Done. But see, I spoke too soon. I spoke too soon. It's like I didn't wait long enough for the pandemic to teach me. It's like later teachings that it would then teach, like in June, July, August. But don't worry, you guys, because I figured it out. Now that like we're late in the summer, I realized my deeper needs, like my emotional needs and my soul level needs. And once you're in touch with your soul level needs, you can attract your soulmate, your actual soulmate, right? And so I did. And the weird thing is, we used to be together before, but we had split up for a while. And then it's just like organically, we like found each other just organically again, just through the natural flow of the pandemic and the quarantine. And I'm kind of embarrassed to say his name publicly because a lot of you know him. He's really kind of famous. I mean, I don't want to brag. It's just true. Yeah, I mean, his name is Ben and Jerry's, and he does have a name that is a proper noun that is plural, but that's his parents were eccentrics, and that's what they named him. And I can't judge him. I love him, so I'm not going to judge him. I mean, you guys, it's like so for real. You know what I mean? Like, I feel that he feels it too. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I feel it. It's like, oh, and then I could feel that he feels it because, like, for example, you guys, like, sometimes I'll just call him and he'll just like have a friend of his just like put him in the car and just bring him to my house. I'll just like call him randomly and be like, what's up? And he'll be like, 1 second. It'll take me about 12 minutes. And then he gets in like a stranger's car or his friend's car and he comes over and I just put him right in my mouth. And that's how it's been flowing ever since the pandemic. And I just feel like, I don't know, I know it's a comedy show, but I wanted to share the good news with you guys. Because another thing is, as a spiritual healer, something I can tell you, I've been doing a lot of really deep energy work in this time, which is part of what this time is for. We're supposed to go inside and come to know the deeper truths of who we are. And as I've sat with some of the higher vibrational realms of consciousness, there's a few things that the beings of light from the Akashic records want me to share with you guys about. Specifically, they want me to educate the people about what they call new definitions of healthy meals. Okay, they're like, you have to understand, angels and beings of light from other dimensions, they really have our back as human beings. They care about us. They're watching over us. And they're like, listen, we have rewritten the structure of consciousness for you. That's what this whole thing is. It's a restructuring and an up-leveling of consciousness. And in so doing, we have created certain meals now that you used to define as, death-inducing, but are now actually quite healthy. For example, and they had me write this down the other day. I channeled it directly and then I wrote it down. They're telling me that when you mush up a Kit Kat bar and melt it into a pile of broken up cheese puffs, when you do that and sit in the backyard, that's healthy now. That's super healthy. It has antioxidants. And the tears of Rwandan children, they're in there, and then they go inside your nervous system, and there's a lot of probiotic action with that. They also said one of my favorite dishes, they were like, oh my God, you guys, I was in like this super tranced out, blissed out state. I had passed through the fifth layer of the heart, and I was in the Jabarut realm, and I'm sitting there and there's angels everywhere. And one of them says to me directly in my ear, he goes, one of the healthiest things you can eat is your favorite meal, which, as I'm sure you guys know at this point, is a bowl of hot white rice with vanilla ice cream mixed into it and whipped cream on top. That, they told me, I'm not making this up. I was in another dimensional reality, and the beings of light, God itself in the form of an angel, spoke to me directly and said, rice and ice cream. It's going to save you. It's going to save the world. So I just want to give you the good news because I feel like we could all use a little good news. The other day, this is a true story. I shared this with some of you before. This happened. You ever do a thing when you're in the middle of a global pandemic and you're suffering from trauma, but you're not fully conscious of that. And then you just find yourself doing a thing. And then you remember, oh, right, crazy shit's going on. The other day, I filled a plate, just a flat plate, filled it, covered it with whipped cream. And I took a flat plate of whipped cream to the patio, and I sat on the patio, and I have this rope chair, and because I'm a white lady and we have to be comfortable all the time. And I was swinging in my rope chair, and I had my plate of whipped cream, and I realized I didn't have a utensil with me, and I would have to get up and walk about 9 feet to the kitchen where the utensils were, and that sounded crazy. So instead, I looked over to the little patio table, and I saw that there was a pair of scissors there. So I took the scissors from the table, and I used the sharp end to eat the whipped cream off of the plate. Whereupon my neighbor Steve decided to walk on by and say hello, at which point he asked me the following question. Hey, are you okay? To which I responded, yeah, why? Full scissor eating. And he was like, is that a scissors? And I go, yeah. And that was the end of that conversation. And that's when I realized a few things. That was the day. That was also the day that my dinner was pizza and bread and pasta. Because now, speaking of black rage, white people sitting on our patios, eating whipped cream with scissors because it makes us feel comfortable. Something that makes us white people feel very uncomfortable is black people's rage. For a long time, we've had a hard time with black people and their feelings. We don't know what to do with it. Why are they so angry, we've said. And we talk to each other and whisper in the corner, oh, she's so angry. Gosh, why is she so angry? And we haven't understood. And we thought, God, you guys just like get over yourselves. See, you hear the cat? She's a white lady in cat form. She's still having feelings about it. She's not as far along on the processing as I am. So if she makes noise in the background, she's just in her journey. She's on her path, and we're going to make space for her to fucking come around. I've been reading all the books. I read all of Ibram Kendi's stuff, and I read fucking White Fragility, and I watched all the stuff I need to watch, and there's more, and I'm in the support group. They don't have cat white lady support groups yet, but they're coming around the corner. I can feel it. So it occurred to me during my unveiling and awakening deeper level. I've always been a liberal lady. I thought I knew all the stuff. Didn't know all the stuff. Was a little fucking clueless to some of the stuff. When the veil got lifted to the new layers of stuff, it occurred to me that all of our white people discomfort with black people's rage is a little bit fucked up. Because when you think about okay, there was slavery. And then did you know that when slavery ended, you could rent black people? You could rent them like a vacuum cleaner. Then we had the Jim Crow laws, which were super fucked up. Then Emmett Till got murdered in public and everybody saw his face, and that was fucked up, which sparked the civil rights movement. And then the civil rights movement happened, and then we all felt better because we talked about it for a second, and then we never thought about it again. We just put that topic right to bed because it was uncomfortable, and we figured we did civil rights. We're good now. We're good. And the problem is, this is the lady having a skinny margarita, a scargarita at the bar with her friend. She's not processing the pain and the grief of the things that have actually occurred in time and space. So culturally, we went to the bar in the 60s. We white people, we went right over to the bar, and we did not internalize fully. Not all of us. Some of you were like, I did, bitch. And I'm like, I feel you. You're amazing. The rest of us didn't. People didn't do it. We didn't internalize the pain. We didn't own how fucked up the whole thing was. And because we didn't own it, it didn't have time to process. So that when mass incarceration came around and 3 strikes law came around, we were just like, nothing really bad is happening. And then thank God for George Floyd, not for his death, but for the fucking wake-up call that it was. Because all of a sudden it shook us out of our collective denial, and we've had to face some shit. So with all of that context that I now have, thank you to the documentary on Netflix called 13 or the 13 or 13th or the 13th. Please watch it. It's real good. I have a bad memory because I'm a white lady. Thanks to the education I got from that, I learned that list of things I just said to you, which brings me to the question, when white people have a problem with Black people's anger, I'm a little confused because white people, let's be real, when they get your order wrong at Chipotle, you get real fucking mad. If they put whole milk in your latte and you asked for skim, you get mad. But Black people can't be enslaved as a population and be a little fucking pissed off about it? I think they can. Now, in discovering my own fragility and the fragility of white folk across the land, I realized pretty much for the duration of my adulthood, I've been hanging out with the most fragile group of white people in the world. You want to know who the most fragile white people are? It's the spiritual people. Are we fragile? Oh, we have so many feelings and we're all empaths. So we can't be expected to feel uncomfortable feelings all day because we're empathizing all the time. And it's draining. And we have to take lavender Epsom salt baths at night to get everybody else's icky energies off of us because we're so sensitive. I've always loved spirituality quite deeply, and I've always sort of hated spiritual people. Even before all the race stuff was happening and I started to hate us even more, I hated us before. Spiritual people can be the fucking worst. Have you noticed? You probably have. That's why half of you went bye-bye at the beginning when I told you I was one of them. Spiritual people bug me. Like, for example, okay, let's unpack this a little bit. You know, when like somebody's new to a spiritual path, maybe they're meditating now, maybe they're going to yoga now, maybe they're doing the fucking Course in Miracles if people still do that. The 90s was a real time. Calm down. They're doing something spiritual. Okay, they met a guru, they go to his things, they pay the money, they're doing their thing. Now they have to apply intense spiritual lingo to like really inane life shit that's going on. You ever notice that? Just really mundane life shit has to get all this spiritual language put on top of it. Like, what are you doing there, John? Well, I'm making an enchilada, God willing. Really? You gotta apply the God willing to your enchilada making? Hey, you never know what God's plan is, Katie. You never do. Hey, maybe while I'm making this enchilada, maybe the microwave blows up. Maybe I lose an eye in the incident. Maybe that opens my heart to the suffering of others. I become a male nurse at a children's hospital. You never know. Which is the kind of thing that when a new to a spiritual path person likes to do that or say that kind of thing to me, I have a really great response for them that I learned in the early days of my weird spiritual life, which you guys can have now. You can have this. This is what I like to say to a person like that in that moment. I like to say, you know, John, you may be right. Easy. You may be right. You know what I mean? I'm not saying, you know what, John, you're a fucking idiot. I'm not going to say that to John. I'm not going to destroy him. I'm not going to obliterate John, but I'm also not going to say, you know, John, I agree with the foolishness that's coming from your face holes. I'm not going to do that either because I'm not stupid. So I'm just going to, you know what, John, you may be right. It's very middle of the road. You know what I mean? It's very Zen. It's very Buddhist. It's very passive aggressive. Because I'm letting them know. You can have that. That's for you. Put that in your pocket. Take it out whenever you need it at a family dinner, like back in the Midwest when you're at dinner over Christmas with family and Uncle whoever says whatever the fuck he says about crazy shit. You know what, Uncle Fucktard? You may be right. You can have that one. Another thing I have a hard time with spiritual people. You know how like You're doing a lot of spiritual stuff, let's say. You're meditating. You're doing your own self-help work. You've been to 12-step. You're going to therapy. Now everybody you're hanging out with, they've done their own self-help work and they're meditating and they're going to fucking 12-step and therapy. Now you guys are so evolved. You're so evolved, you can never have a normal argument anymore because everybody's trying to be so healthy and detached and mature. You know, Katie, when you said what you said about my sweater, I felt really disempowered and not acknowledged. Oh my gosh, I am so sorry. I so didn't mean to disempower you. I mean, not that I have the power to disempower you. But if anything I said in any way implies that I think that I somehow possess that power, I want to own that and release it. Oh my God, thank you so much, Katie. You know, because what I'm hearing you say is that when I said that what you said made me feel disempowered, what you heard was that I think that you have the power to disempower me. But what I meant was in the future, if you have something to say about my sweater, maybe you could frame it in the form of a question, which is when I want to push all the spiritual people on the planet off a cliff, collectively, all at once. I want to say, can't we just fucking fight like normal fucking people fight for just a second? Your sweater's ugly. Fuck you, cunt, bitch, we're done. Fight complete. Because spiritual people think that having anger is antithetical to being spiritual, which is horse shit. Say it with me now, everybody. Spiritual people thinking that anger is antithetical to being spiritual or one with the divine is, what is it now? Horse shit. It's horse shit. Because sometimes anger is the thing that gets you right down to the truth of who you are and what you're actually feeling. And whenever you feel the truth of who you are and what you're actually feeling, the light of source can come in more fully into your being and help you out with whatever the hell's going on. But if you won't admit what's actually happening for you and have the anger you're having, that's how you wind up with a Donald Trump as the president. Donald Trump is simply an embodiment. He's a walking embodiment of all of the lower self stuff that America doesn't want to know it has. Oh, I'm liberal and I don't like to think about having icky stuff inside, so I'll just go la 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 and pretend it's not happening, and then poop. The lower self is going to find expression. And that's what we have going on right now. The lower self has just fisted us, America, in the form of an orange-headed fucktard named Donald Trump. He's the walking embodiment of everything we've been squashing down in our consciousness about ourselves. Now, I'm not suggesting we should all just let it up and all be fucktards collectively. I'm suggesting we have our lower selves and process them and bring them to the higher self. But you have to first have a thing before you can transmute a thing. But people want to pop up into their spirituality and avoid their fucking lower self. And then the lower self has to show up as a big orange Oompa Loompa man. I have a theory that Donald Trump it's simple. He's just a failed Oompa Loompa. He tried to be with the Oompa Loompas from Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, and he went to the Oompa Loompa planet. And he said he got there and he noticed all the little round Oompa Loompas, they were purple. They were purpley bluey, like the Oompa Loompas from Willy Wonka. And he said, you said orange. And they said, I think we said purple. And then they kicked him off their fucking planet. And then he fell to Earth like a meteor from the sun. And he just burned through our atmosphere and set the whole place on fucking fire. That's what happened. I think it's very simple. And now, he lives here among us, like a collective unconscious boil right here on our cheek. He's a boil on the cheek of America that needs to be lanced with something metallic, sharp, and hot. We need like a fork, a huge fork that somebody heated up, but it only has one tine left. Like if a fork has 4 tines, it only has one, this fork. And we found it on the road and it's got a little rust on it, but it's real fucking big, like the devil's fork, but only with one tine, and it's real sharp and pointy at the end of that tine. And we just heated it up a little and we just take it to the boil, and it's going to be hot and it's going to hurt for a second. And then we just lance the boil right on top, right in the middle part where it's like heavy and thick on the bottom, and then like a bump, and then there's a white bump on top of that, and then there's a center point. So you just lance that center point. First comes out the pus, then comes out the white clear stuff. So it's white stuff and then clear stuff, and then there's like a little bit of black, like blackhead, black dirt that comes out of the boil, and it's really fucking gross. And then there's blood. Sometimes there's blood, and blood comes out and it gets on your face, and you got to get a washcloth and some disinfectant, and you wash that off, and then you pat it down, and there's some extra skin there because that boil took up a lot of space, and you're going to dry it off. You're going to put a little Band-Aid on it, and guess what? Tomorrow your skin will be just fine. It'll be back to normal. Everything will be great. But we got to lance that boil, don't we? Because we sure created that fucker by eating all the metaphoric ice cream and Ben and Jerry's that we could to stuff those feelings right on downtown, so we didn't have to feel them. That's my theory. He's a boil on our face. He's a boil on the face of America that needs to be lanced. I have another hard problem with spiritual people. Speaking of boils that need to be lanced, I've heard a lot of spiritual people say to me, like whenever I do that joke about what Donald Trump is, some people are like, wow, Katie, spiritual people. Wow, Katie, you're really angry. I hope you work through that at some point. At which point I want to say to them, usually they're just assholes I can't really say anything to because I don't know them that well, or it's not the right space, or it's right after a show and they're a stranger and they think they're going to give me fucking advice after a show. Don't do that. Never do that. You're a douchebag if you do that. So I don't say the thing I want to say, but what I want to say is that, you know, a lot of the folks on the right can be sociopathic, megalomaniacal narcissists. It's true. But do you know, liberals, what sociopathic, megalomaniacal narcissists are good at? They're good at getting shit done. They get shit done. And I feel like we liberals, we could use a little more of their sort of righteous rage. We could use a little bit more of it. We could use some righteous rage, because righteous rage will motivate the shit out of you to like get off your lazy fucking ass and go do a thing, which I think is starting to happen now because things are bad enough that we might actually be motivated to, I don't know, vote. We might be motivated to vote this time. The least we could fucking do is vote. We could just pick up a little right-wing rage, take it down like in pill form, maybe swallow it with some sparkly water because we all love our bubbly. Yeah, drink it down, get it in there, and then we'll let the rage kind of bubble around in the belly, and it'll come up and it'll get our asses to vote in whatever form you want to vote, whatever form we're allowed to fucking vote, which is a different conversation we'll have another time. I don't have any jokes about that yet because I'm just having feelings about it, but we'll vote. I had the thought the other day. I thought to myself, when people are saying, how do you feel about Biden? How do I feel about him? He's not Trump. What does it mean? He's not. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. I'll vote for any fucking Democrat right now. If we had a Bernie option, maybe. We don't have it. We have a 95,000-year-old white guy. Fine. That's fine. I'll vote for him. He's the Democrat. I'll vote for it. I don't care. I'll vote for it. Listen, if they were campaigning at my door and they came, the DNC, the Democratic National People, they came and they knock on my door and they were like, hi, so this time around, we're going to have a giraffe in a funny top hat run against Donald Trump. Would you vote for him? I'd be like, fuck yeah. Fuck yeah. I'll vote for a tall giraffe in a party hat. That's fine. I'll vote for any fucking buddy on the other. I don't care. I don't care. If a snow globe knocked on my door, like a little snow globe that you buy that you put on the shelf and it's got the snow in it and you shake it up and the snow moves around. If a slightly cracked on the outside snow globe knocked on my door and said, vote for me for president, I'd say, sure, come on in, have some tea. Do you like tea? I'll make you tea. I'll vote for you. That's fine. If a naked 80-year-old woman, a topless 80-year-old octogenarian woman with a pink tulle see-through tutu knocked on my window at night and said, I'm psychotic, but I'm running for president against Donald, I would vote for her. That's fine by me. If a Ziploc baggie of sand, a Ziploc, small 4x5 Ziploc baggie of sand asked me to vote for it, I would fucking vote for it. If you brought to me a red plastic solo cup, you know, the solo cups that the kids play beer pong into, if you brought me to my house a red plastic solo cup filled to the brim with pubic hairs, just pubes to the whole, filling up, just packed tight in there, tight packed pubes in a red solo cup. If you brought that to my house and said, this cup of pubes is running against Donald Trump, will you vote for it? I'd say, sign me up. Can I work at the place where you need help? What's it called? Can I work at the DNC for you to support the pube cup? I will. How do you feel about Biden? Who the fuck cares? I know we have to be discerning or we're going to wind up back where we are now. We have to be discerning about I don't have a lot of discernment left. I don't know about you. I don't give a fuck. I'm like, kill him, murder him. If the people came to my house at night and they were wearing their black suits and they had their sharpshooter guns and they said, we need one random white lady to come with us to be on the sharpshooter team. We're going to kill all the people now and then replace them with other people. I'd be like, sure, that's fine. I'm in. That is fine. I don't care what happens to me. Let's do it now. Should I bring the solo cup of pubes or are you going to bring it? Now, if you're still here, dog's barking. She's upset because she was my soulmate and now she's not. I threw her out the window for ice cream and that's painful for her. It's understandable. We have to just let her have her feelings. See, she's processing, America. She's processing her feelings and eventually she'll get through them and then a new space will open in her heart so she can vote for the solo cup of pubes. Now, speaking of pubes, I have a question. When exactly did it become fashionable and sexy for women to remove from their vaginas the protective sheathing known as pubic hair? When did it become so normal that adult women would wrench from their tender undercarriages the very thing designed to protect those undercarriages? When did that become the commonplace way to function? You know who has a bald little pussy? You know who has a bald pussy? A 6-year-old little girl. Do you, grown-ass women of America, want your vagina to look like a little 6-year-old? Do you want a little baby girl vagina? Is that what you want? Or do you want to be a grown-ass woman? Listen to me. The most feminist thing you can do is have a full 70s bush. It should be thick and brambly. It should have spiky parts and little fruits growing in it. He should have to work to get into the fountain of youth. If he doesn't have to bushwhack his way through the thorny brambles of you, how has he proven the valor and purity of his heart? He hasn't. They didn't listen. Think about Indiana Jones. Okay. Did they just leave the fucking Holy Grail? Is that what he was looking for? Did they leave? I don't remember. The Holy Grail just like on a shelf in the middle of an open field. And then Indiana Jones could just stroll on up to the shelf and just kind of take the fucking chalice of life and walk away. No, he had to face all kinds of shit. He had to like fucking duck below boulders that were falling and spears coming from the ceiling. He had to face his greatest fear of snakes and serpents. That's where we are now, America. We We need to face our fears, and we need to go to protests, and we need to have hairy fucking pussies. Hairy pussies. Because that's what grown-up women do, and that's feminism. Do you think Daenerys Targaryen hired some of the Unsullied to boil up some weird Game of Thrones wax, the wax they use on the letter stamp things? Do you think she got the Unsullied to heat some of that letter wax and put it on her fucking vagina and then rip her white, fluffy, pillow-like, billowing bush from her pussy? No! No, America, I say no. She's got a huge fucking Santa Claus beard in her pants because she is a woman lording over the lands. Sure, she died at the end and the dragon and a guy stabbed her, but she lived fucking valorously. Not like a 6-year-old naked vagina lady. Give me a break. We gotta get our fucking shit together as a culture. Get that hair back on our pussies and live a correct, upstanding life. Now, to that point, I'd like to say another thing I've looked at quite closely in this difficult time we're all in the middle of. I've seen it over and over again with my healing clients on this topic. One of the main reasons white people, we don't want to break the structures of white supremacy. We don't want to own our icky feelings. We don't want to look at the ways we participate consciously or unconsciously in systemic racism. A lot of the time is we don't want to offend one another. Have you noticed? You don't want to own something about your own whiteness and the ways that you've benefited from the systemic racism that exists, the ways that your whiteness got you ahead of the curve without even having to think of it, the ways that your whiteness meant you were raised in a family probably with more money than your Black friends' families had, just at a baseline way. You woke up in that family. You just were born into privilege. We don't want to face that and look at it and own it and talk about it because God forbid we offend one another. If you own your thing, now you're worried that the white guy standing next to you, if there are any left in your living rooms, because remember, my voice, it probably murdered most of them. But God forbid he hears you tell the truth about your own whiteness, then he might have to face his own whiteness. And we hate to make each other feel uncomfortable. And that, America, is the most codependent and meshed bullshit that we pull. We don't want to own our stuff because we don't want to threaten our boss, or we don't want to threaten some coworker who might have power over us in some work context. We're talking about the moral, ethical soul of the world. And you're worried about what Whitey McGee next to you fucking thinks about you? It can't anymore be about what other people will think of you. It has to be about the bigger picture integrity of what is the right fucking thing to do. And to that point, I want to give you an example of how you can transcend your codependent fear. I'm going to tell you a story, a real story from my real life that actually happened, which was the moment where I let go of all of my codependent people-pleasing tendencies. I gave up giving a fuck what other people think of me when this event occurred in my life. Okay, it's very important. You should get your pens out and your papers and get ready to take notes because this is some serious shit. Back in my late 20s, early 30s, I was in a lot of pain. I was going through a lot of healing work, and I was reading every single book there was on codependency because I was raised with some alcoholic people in my family, and I found Al-Anon, thank God. And Al-Anon saved my life in my late 20s. Saved my life. Game changing, okay, for a codependent person. People pleasing, codependent, don't want to step on toes, don't want to say anything not nice because God forbid people don't like me. I go to Al-Anon. I'm reading all the codependency books at the time. I read Codependent No More, and I read Codependent Tomorrow, and I read Free Yourself from Codependency, and I read Don't Be Codependent, Bitch, and I read Stop Being So Co, and I read every book with any of the words that have anything to do with codependency in the title. And I was getting it in my mind, but I wasn't fully getting it in my body. And I was like, there's something missing. I need to like grok this in my body, right? So one day I was actually touring with one of my solo shows, my first solo show, and I was in the airport in Atlanta randomly. I was going to do a show in Georgia. I had landed, I went to the airport after the long flight, and I had to go to the bathroom. So I was in the bathroom, and I walk into the women's bathroom, airport in Atlanta, and there were people in there, ladies just doing normal bathroom stuff, airport bathroom stuff. There was a lady washing her hands, you know, just the automatic washing her. If she pulled it out, it would stop, you know. And then there was a lady like you know, getting the soap to come out of the working hard, get that soap out. There's not a lot in there. You got to work sometimes. Then there was another lady like pulling the, you know, pulling the hand towel dry. What are they called? The paper towels. Just pulling it. It was one of those that like wraps around and it goes and it was actually like not a paper towel. It was like a cloth towel. Then there were other ladies like in the stalls doing bathroom stuff. They were just doing bathroom stuff. And I could hear ladies at the, you know, flushing the toilets or like pulling the toilet paper out, wiping, opening, clickety, clickety, walking out. All the bathroom sounds. Normal bathroom sounds. Then I stepped into the second to last stall in a long row of stalls. It was a really big bathroom. Long row of silver doored stalls. I go into the second to last one because it's the only one available. And I sit down and I'm peeing. And I hear the woman next to me. There's a woman there. She's peeing. And I hear her like adjusting her purse and she drops the purse on the floor. And I'm just kind of start to space out a little bit. I'm just doing bathroom stuff. All of a sudden, the woman to my left, who I can hear has just dropped her purse, starts to make sounds that could only be the result of somebody urinating shards of glass through their urethra. That, or she was shitting fire. Actual flames. Fire flames were coming from her anus because these are the actual sounds that this woman made in this bathroom stall. She went like this. Now I couldn't see her, but I'm going to pretend to be her because it's a show. Couldn't see her, but this is what I heard. Oh God. Oh God. Oh God. Oh God. Oh God. Oh God. Here it comes. Here it comes. Oh God. Ah! 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 Okay. Okay. Okay, I'm better. I'm okay. I'm okay. I'm okay. I'm okay. Oh God. Oh God, here it comes again. Here it comes again. Oh God. Ah! Ah! Okay, that happened for real in my real life in a bathroom stall. Now, when it happened, you could hear silence across the land in the bathroom. She started yelling and you heard the lady go ksh, and stop washing her hands and stop soaping and stop toweling. Everybody stopped doing everything they were doing. Now, I myself was in the stall right next to her. And I had finished peeing and I had wiped and my pants were at my knees and I was in a half stand. I was kind of crouching like this, like in a crouch like this. And my pants were like here and I hadn't fully pulled them up. And I realized at a certain point, so like I stood there crouching and I'm not an in shape person. And eventually, look at this, my legs started to shake like this. I was there so long waiting for her to stop screaming bloody murder. And I was so uncomfortable. And my legs were shit. And I realized like, I don't know, like 2 minutes went by of me standing there. Ow, I can't stand up. And I realized, I asked myself, why don't you just stand up and leave the bathroom stall? And I realized the thought I was having was, if I stand up, and flush and open this door and make any sound, she'll know that I heard her, and that'll make her feel uncomfortable. And it was in that moment that I realized that lady never feels uncomfortable. She shat screamed at full volume in an Atlanta bathroom. She's not afraid of what I think of her. I was worried of what she would think of me. And that's when I was liberated from my codependency. I pulled my fucking pants up, flushed that toilet, opened that door, slammed it, washed my hands, and got the fuck out of there. And I never was codependent again. So now I will own my white lady failures, and I will challenge you to own your white lady failures, and I will tell wildly inappropriate, too loud, disgusting, high-pitched dolphin frequency jokes for people I can't see. Thank you for being here tonight.
Hey! Ladies and gentlemen, let's bring Katie Rubin back on stage so she can take a bow. Come back, Katie. Can you hear me? Are you still there? Or has she just run away? No, she's here. Yay! Ladies and gentlemen, let's blow up the live chat with some clapping hands and some cheering. And I'm doing some clapping and some cheering. Woo, 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 woo.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you so much for being here, Katie.
Do you guys like my outfit? What do you think?
Yeah. I just noticed as well that we sort of double blued it without even talking about that. We've got.
I just like that I'm wearing like a business shirt with sweat panty pants.
Isn't that our life right now?
Yes.
I tell you what. I can join you on that. I put a shirt on to try and be fancy, right?
Wait. Let me guess.
Okay.
Can I guess?
Yeah.
It's men's boxers.
No, I wouldn't stand up if it was. They're just really loud swimming trunks.
Oh.
Because that's our life right now, isn't it?
That's our life.
You know, I'm running a theatre company online and wear swimming trunks to work. So that's.
I just want to know, like, newscasters in the 80s. Did they ever wear pants?
Probably not.
I don't know.
Probably not.
Yeah.
But thank you so much for being here. And thanks you everybody. We've got lots of people sort of shouting applause and lots of clapping and things like that. Why don't you stay with me for the sign off as well, Katie? You know, because that's fun. Because then we're together, right? That's the best way to be.
High fiving it. High fiving it.
Boom. There we go.
Thanks. If I'm going to stay, I just want to say thank you, everybody, for coming. Like, what a treat to have people here. I forgot to harass you all to tip me.
Yeah.
But you should tip me. That was a lot of yelling for like an hour.
You guys should.
Of inspiration and jokes. There's a PayPal button right there. Just a little tip. Yes, tango actor making the goal thing. I wonder who tango actor. Don't tell me who you I just be yourself. I don't want to know. I want the mystery. How you tip is you scroll down.
Yeah.
And he's asking, how do we tip? You scroll down the page that you're on and you'll see tip here and you push that.
It'll say donate. There's a button, and if for any reason you can't see the donation button, just go to thestreamingtheatre.com and you'll see a button at the top that says donate, and then you can just do it there.
Okay, so for the Americans, what he just said was
I'm going to write it in the live chat.
If you can't tip, you go to the streaming theater with an RE.com.
Is my accent that weird? I'm just going to put that in the live chat. So
no, it's not. I'm just giving you a hard time because it's fun. Don't you guys just want to hear him talk? Don't you want him to just say British stuff?
There we go. I've just put it in the live chat. There you go.
There you go.
There.
It's in the chat. You could click that. Send us some cash. We're just sitting here starving to death if you don't pay us. So.
And if you guys, if this is your first time at the streaming theatre, then, you know, please come back and see us. We've got loads booking in, you know, so Katie's a stand-up. We've got music gigs coming up. We've got play readings coming up. I'm going to announce the fall season in the next couple of weeks that will have lots of different things going on. You may have seen in the papers, we just announced our next show for October 29th, where the undead will be taking over the stream. It's going to be an adaptation with Shakespeare Napa Valley. Jennifer King is the artistic director there, and it's going to be a new adaptation of Night of the Living Dead. So if you guys enjoy some zombies, then you can come back. Miss Midtown, first time, bring Katie back, please. So there you go. You got your fans. We're going to have to do like a Katie Rubin like sequel or something. Oh, I don't know words.
You guys rock. Thank you for being here. Don't forget to tip. Don't be a douchebag.
Totally.
Scroll down and send us some goddamn money. Okay? We're not fucking around. Get down there.
Nice.
All right, I gotta go, Kevin.
Yeah,
it's
we've all
hot
got
in
to
this
go.
room.
Okay, thank you so much for joining us, everybody. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram and all the other social medias. My name is Kevin Kemp. This is
KatieRubin.com, which, by the way, that reminds me before I do, check out my podcast. It's called All the Answers.
Yeah.
And you can get it everywhere you get your podcasts. Very funny, very spiritual. You'll have a great time.
Great.
Thank
and they
you
can
for
just
being
see
here
that
tonight.
on your website?
No.
Oh. But how do they find it? How do they get there?
It's called All the Answers.
Okay.
And you go to anywhere you get podcasts. So if
that's
you go
cool.
to iTunes or the podcast app on your phone or Spotify or anywhere, just search the words All the Answers and you'll see my face and my co-host's face, Cassidy Brown. And it's a weekly podcast and you'll dig it. If you dug this at all today, you'll dig it a lot.
Love it. Let's find it. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. You've been watching The Streaming Theatre. We'll see you next time. Goodbye.